So my name is Kim Ware, and I've been teaching at Bryan for 4 years, and I've been teaching overall for a little over 15 years. I got my master's in human communication at Arizona State University. We lived there for 16 years, and then we moved to Denver for my husband's job. I have 4 kids, and I'm a homeschooling mom. So you'll notice that my work, I don't think you can probably ever peg me down exactly when your papers will get graded. It will be very random times. I tend to work in the afternoon, but you might notice a paper come through at a very odd time in the morning or a very odd time at night. You'll be like, oh, she's working right now. Yes, I am. And as you know, that is the benefit of working and going to school online, is that you get to make it fit in with your crazy busy lives. So I think that we all probably share that in common. Just, trying to work the plan and get to these goals that we all have. So at the outset, I have a really fun video that I want to show you to give insight into the study of interpersonal communication. So I'm going to share my screen and play this short clip for you. Where is it? Well, I know, are you seeing a YouTube page?
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
You're seeing it, but I'm not. So where is it? There it is. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
It's just, there's all this pressure, and sometimes it feels like it's right up on me and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I'll bet if we got that out of there.
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing.
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
No, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See,
out.
you're not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just, sometimes it's like there's this achy, I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. All of them.
That sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. If you would just
Don't.
Can anybody identify with that? So it's not about the nail. They had all kinds of issues going on there, wanting to be heard, wanting to try to fix the problem, listening issues, this ongoing brewing conflict that they're not really dealing with. He said, she said. And so interpersonal communication at the heart is the study of communication between 2 people. So in this class, we're going to look at the way that we communicate with others. We're going to learn about our own communication style. And this is going to have applications for you in your personal life and also in your professional life. And hopefully by the end of the course, you'll also see how these things weave in and out with each other. So largely we have had nothing but success with this class, and people have really come out on the other end enjoying it and having learned something that is going to propel them forward in their professional development. I think sometimes when you are enrolled in a class like this, you're like, what? Why do I need to take this class? Because I'm in web development or I'm in health information systems. I don't need to take a communication class. I need to be learning about coding. And while that is true, we are always and ever communicating. We've been doing it since we were born, and it's just not going to stop. And we're going to go through these different seasons. And also, just so you know, at any university that's worth its salt, that is accredited, you have to take a comm class as a prereq. You have to have it as part of your degree. And that's why I'm so pleased that Bryan chose to do interpersonal communication, because it's really the bulk of what you're going to be doing along with small group communication. And so it will have implications to small group, but also it's an opportunity for us to get some of the stuff in that you would get in a survey class. So you're going to get to look at intercultural communication. You're going to get to look at leadership, at conflict management, and just lots of good stuff. So we're packing a ton in to this 8-week course. So let me just start by asking, before I get too far in, does anyone have any questions that you want me to cover about the course before we get started? I see a nonverbal no.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well, if you do have a question, you can put it in the chat or you can just stop me and I'll help you out. So let me just tell you what the outlook for the course is. The first half of the course, we're going to spend building a foundation for the study of interpersonal communication. And the second half of the course is going to be based on application of those concepts. So in the first half of the course, we're going to start out with an assignment that is a self-reflection assignment, just to help you figure out how we arrive at communicating the way that we do based on our beliefs, attitudes, and values, our communication style, and a look at a theory that I think is foundational for the study of interpersonal communication. And just in my life too, being a part of different parenting groups and different work groups and just functioning in my family, I see this theory play out, and I'm excited for you to study it. In the second half of the course, we are going to start to more so apply the things that we're learning by looking at conflict with a scene from Aaron Brockovich. Has anyone seen that movie?
I've seen it.
Okay. Yay, nay?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. Good. I think it's one of Julia Roberts' best. It's based on a real story. It is rated R. So if you decide to pick it up and watch it, just be aware that may not want to watch it with littles in the room. Then we're going to look at friendship, because we have friends, we have acquaintances all of our life. And we're going to look at how we handle those relationships in different seasons in our personal life, but also in a work relationship. And then we're going to capitalize on the course by looking at family communication and workplace communication and comparing those two to see where they are the same and where there are differences. So it's a good course. It covers a broad range. Any questions about those different topics? No?
No, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Let's move on. So now let me talk to you about assignment expectations. And in just a minute, I'm actually going to walk through the first and second assignment so you can see it and I can tell you a little bit more about what I want. But I think one of the most important things for me is I love it when students ask questions before they submit. So even if you are working on the assignment on Sunday night and it is late and you cannot figure out the answer, please just pause. Send me a text message or a Canvas inbox. Let me answer your question and then you can turn it in late. I do not take late points off because, as someone else I believe said, they're not a fan of math. I think 2 people said they're not math fans. I'm not a math fan either. And I don't like figuring out percentages for how many points you should have taken off when it's late. Learning is the most important thing. So if you're going to be late, communicate with me that you're going to do that. Let me answer your question and we can move on. And another reason this is really important to me is that it just decreases stress levels. So if you don't know the answer to something, you're going to Google it. And someone in the last class actually told me I'm one of the only instructors that has said, please don't Google, because I know when you Google, and we have a textbook that has very specific information. And one of the clunky things about the communication field is that different concepts sometimes have different names. So I really need you to use the concepts that are in our textbook. And so it keeps you from Googling. It also keeps you from spinning your wheels and writing something that you have no idea is correct. And then I have to grade it. And then I get to tell you why it's not correct. And then you get to resubmit it for mastery. And that's just time that no one has. So just wait, let me answer your question. Let's cut out all the middle stuff. And then you can just turn in your assignment perfectly. So then along with that, you'll notice this course is a little bit writing intensive. So I just ask that you write the best that you can. Some of us have had English already as part of your prereq, and some of you have not. And I don't know about you, but it's been a long time since I took high school English. So if writing isn't your strong suit, that's okay. I just need to see that you understand the concepts. So if you're taking notes right now, I'm going to give you a formula for being able to write for this course. It would be a good time to type those notes out or to write it down. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, so in this course, when you look at a short answer question, you might see that it has 2 questions within a prompt. If you see 2 question marks, so look at the punctuation, that's a clue that you might need more than 1 paragraph. Use the questions as your topic sentence, similar to what we're going to talk about with interviewing later in the course. If I say, what are the assignment expectations, question mark, you would say the assignment expectations are. So that's the first thing. Rephrase questions as topic sentences. Then give me a concept and then define the concept. So what are the assignment expectations? The assignment expectations are, assignment expectations can be defined as X, Y, and Z. Then almost all, well, not even almost, basically all of the short answer questions ask for specific examples. And this is so I can see that you're able to synthesize the information. Like, not only do I know the concept, but I know how to apply it. And then give me an example to show the application of that concept. So it's a 3-pronged approach. You restate the question as the topic sentence, give a concept and define it, and then give a specific example. And then if you really want to go all out, write 1 more sentence to say this example fits the concept because of this. And that shows the synthesis of the material. So I'm going to pause real quick and stop sharing this screen and show you the first 2 assignments so that I can just clarify this a little bit more. Just a second, I'm going to find it. Here it is. What am I sharing? Stop share. There it is. Okay, so when you log into our course, this is what you'll see on the home screen. You'll see the announcements, at least the most recent 4. If you want to see all the announcements, you just click on the announcements page. Because our class does not meet regularly, everyone say that with me, this class does not.
This class does not meet regularly. That's funny.
Thank you. Yes, because that's really hard to understand. Because this is in the general education, it's a prereq. We don't have the same requirements to meet every week. So there are only 2 classes, this one and one in a few weeks that I'm having in the evening. So you can find that information here, or you click on the home page and you can see the live events here. So this one is today, and the next one is going to be April 26th at 6 p.m. I'm doing them at 2 different times so I can catch people who don't work in the morning and I can catch people who don't work at night. Everything will always be recorded. And because this assignment is, these live events do not require, there's no points attached to them, I can't actually make you come and I can't make you write a summary, but I can say you should listen to this because it's good information, especially this one. Now let's take a look at the first assignment. What you'll notice, has anyone opened the first assignment already?
Not yet.
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so most know, some guesses. So this one is an actual document, which we are working on for classes to come, to make it not a document that you have to resubmit. Why isn't it opening? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So what you'll notice about this assignment is that it's a document, first of all, so you have to download it, write in it, and then upload it again. This assignment is personal. And if you start looking at it and you think, ugh, I don't really want to share any information about myself, and I definitely don't want to send it over the World Wide Web, don't. Make something up, Pick a favorite TV character and write about them, or make up a person. I don't care. I don't need to know about your personal life. I think it's super helpful for you to do this on your own, even if you don't send it in, so that you can understand, like, who am I? What are the roles that I'm carrying on a daily basis? What are my inherent beliefs, attitudes, and values? Because those will carry forward into the different decisions, especially the communication decisions that you make in your whole life. So I recommend that you do that. So these I am statements, these are not qualities about you. These are statements about roles that you play, identities that you have. So if you said, I am kind, well, that's great, but that's a quality. That's not a part of your identity, like who you are. So think more in terms of roles that you play. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a teacher, I am a runner, I am a bartender, I am a secretary, like, you know, I am a tennis player, like, you know, these things that you do that you would say classify you as an individual. That's what the I am statements are. The next little bit is the beliefs, values, and attitudes. Just make sure you're writing full sentences. This is a little quiz to figure out if you have a more assertive or responsive style of communication. So you'll fill that out. And then here with what surprised you, what did not surprise you, please write in full sentences. If nothing surprised you, tell me why. Like, nothing surprised me. I know who I am. I've already gone through this sort of thing before. So don't just say nothing, or don't just say everything. Give me a full sentence, explain why. And then down here in part 3, make sure these first 2 need to have at least 50 words in each bullet point. And then in the final section where you're applying Schutz's tenets of inclusion, control, and affection, again, this is personal. You're thinking about a relationship and you're trying to apply these tenets. I don't need to know the nitty-gritty of any relationship that you have. If you want to write about it, that's cool. If you want to make something up, that's fine with me. I need to see that you understand inclusion, control, and affection. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Good. So now let me get to assignment number 2. So the cool thing now, assignment
It
2.
makes sense. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Assignment 2, 3, 4, and 5 maybe, but definitely assignment 2, 3, and 4, they all have study guides. So if you don't know what concepts to use, open the study guide. In the study guide, I have listed concepts for every single question that you could potentially use in your answer. So I'm trying to take a lot of the guesswork out so that you can just really get to the business of concept application. Assignment number 2 is a case study. So you get to read this case study. You've been hired to work at this firm. Here are your coworkers that you get to work with every day. And then you'll take this quiz and you'll answer these questions. So you'll see the example here. How would you define this company's culture? And then up here it says include specific examples from the scenario. So you're going to go up. Actually, it's on the, here you go. Here's the study guide. What concepts is she looking for in this question? Okay, in the first question, she is looking for me to talk about individualistic or collectivistic, high context or low context. Boom. So pick those and write about them and use specific examples. So actually use quotes or information from the case study to give backing for why you say what it is. And in my experience as an instructor at the collegiate level, this can be hard because we aren't used to writing in this way to give assertions for why we think what we think. But if you can master this in this class, and I usually see vast improvements by assignment 4. If you can kind of work on this in this class, it's going to help you with every class that you take anywhere that there's writing or short answers. And then as you go into your career, if you ever have to make an argument for something, or you're talking about policy, which you inevitably will in some way or form, you'll have practice doing this in your writing in this class. And some of you may or may not have taken critical thinking yet. That's one of the other classes I get to teach at at Bryan, we solidify that skill even more there with looking at argument construction. So it's just really good stuff. Yay, Churchill loves case studies. That's awesome. Well, you're really gonna like this one. I think it's funny. It's like real, but not real. So that is what assignment 2 looks like. Any questions about assignment 2?
No questions.
Sweet,
No, ma'am.
awesome.
None so far.
I appreciate that so much. Now I'm going back to my PowerPoint slide. Oh, I don't want to play from the start. Okay. And the next thing just to notice about our assignments is that we have Learn-Its and they are longer than what you're used to in your program of study. I didn't make that rule. Someone way above me made that rule. So they will take longer to do than what you're used to. I think taking handwritten notes while you're doing the Learn-Its is very, very helpful. I'm going to post a video in the next couple of days about how, like, one way you can take notes for Learn-Its. But if you take notes and you write the answers down on a piece of paper, when you get to the part where you have to fill in the blank or you have to pick the right answer, you don't have to like look into the thresholds of your brain to remember what it is. You can look down at your paper and be like, oh yeah, that's the answer. I think that makes them go faster. Does anyone else take notes, or do you have any other tips that you would share for your classmates to make Learn-Its more palatable?
I copy and paste everything into Word documents. I have documents and documents of all the Learn-Its I've done.
Good. I know some people take screenshots too. Anything else?
When I first started, I took handwritten notes until I was taught how to do the copy and paste, like Spencer said.
Okay.
And I just print those off and study them.
Good job. That's wonderful. Nice. Well, thanks for sharing that. The first week of class is 3 chapters. It's the heaviest week that you'll have. So I think it's good because you've just come off a module and you're like kind of excited to get into the new module. So I'm going to hit you hard and fast. And then we do have a couple breather weeks built in where there's no assignment due and it's just 2 chapters of Learn-Its. So you do get reprieves here and there, but at the beginning, just buckle in and get it done. Because I have to set up that foundation to be able to move on with the course. And that's what the first 3 chapters do. Let me just talk briefly about the late policy. I already told you I don't do late points, but all the assignments in weeks 1 through 3 have to be turned in by the end of week 4. And the same as in weeks 4 through 7, everything has to be submitted by the end of week 8. And this is because you probably don't need me to tell you because, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, you can't learn anything if you cram it all in at the end. Also, it's disrespectful to your instructor to wait to the end to finish all the work, because not only are you submitting 2 assignments in the last week, people are trying to submit assignments from the whole course, and it's a lot of grading. And I find it very difficult to believe that I'm going to give you feedback for the first assignment that you're really going to take to heart at week 8 and apply it and actually learn from it. And if you remember nothing else from this course, remember that learning is the most important thing to me. That's why I'm here, is so that you can learn and get better at this thing called communication. So just make sure you're doing that. Don't be surprised if you try to turn in assignment 2 in week 5 and I'm saying, gosh, I'm sorry you spent all this time on it, but I can't give you a grade for it because you didn't meet the expectation. Okay. Does that sound fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Very fair, very fair.
Thank you. Okay, so let me just spend a little bit of time. I've told you a lot about what you should do for me. Now here's what you should expect from me. Everyone has expectations from an instructor, and you should expect me to do something for you. And one of the ways that you should expect something for me is to respond to you. I don't know about you, but I can't stand it when I call and leave a message for someone and they don't return my call. And it's important to me and I need to know the answer. And then I have to hound them to give me the answer. And I become like that nagging drip, drip, drip. I don't want that for you. You don't want that for you. So you can expect that I'm going to respond to you within 24 hours. If for some reason I don't, please send me a reminder, like a friendly reminder. hey, I messaged you, can you please respond to me? And I will, if I'm very good at responding. If it takes more than 24 hours, something has happened and it's got lost in an onslaught of emails. Also, I really like to take Sundays off. It's the day that works best for my family. So if you have a burning question on Sunday, just text me. That's probably the best way to do it. And I'll try my best to get back to you. If it's not a burning question that needs to be answered right away, I'll get back to you on Monday afternoon. Okay? Nice. Let's spend just a couple of minutes talking about Yellow Dig. Some people love it. Some people love to hate it. And one of the things that I like to do, because I mean, interpersonal communication is just fun. So I'm not going to give you anything to talk about that's going to be a real drag. So I hope that you will look forward to getting onto Yellow Dig to see what the spark is. I also try to give you help throughout the week, fun things to talk about. I post a Super Saturday. That's something that's off the wall, a little bit different. And communication is just fun to talk about. So I encourage you to get on there and get engaged in Yellow Dig. Why? Why do we do Yellow Dig? Well, it's because we're in an online institution. We don't get to meet face-to-face regularly, especially in this class. And Yellow Dig is a great place for you to continue to hash out concepts, to talk about the things that you're learning, and also to network. So like Alice and Churchill mentioned, they work together in algebra, and you're seeing repeat faces in some of your classes. And you just don't know what's going to transpire in your life to come, where maybe you will be in a position that you need to hire someone, and it can be remote, and you've built a relationship with somebody on Yellow Dig that's in your field. You'd be like, hey, this job has come up, and I actually think you could be a really good fit. Or you're walking in a grocery store one day and you see someone with a Bryan University t-shirt on. It can happen. We are all across the country. Life meets in various and unique ways. You're like, hey, you went to Bryan University? No way, get out. I went too. What year were you there? And then you just get to compound
That's
these
funny.
relationships. It's true. I have friends that I'm friends with that I met in two totally different states, in two totally different situations, but those people know each other, and now I know both of them, and we're working in the same homeschool co-op. So you just don't know how life is going to transpire for you. So use Yellow Dig for relationship building and to hash out concepts. And the grading for Yellow Dig, if you haven't gotten used to it already, you'll notice that it kind of does this with you. And you can think, I thought that I earned all my points. How did they go back down? And that's because Yellow Dig recalibrates every Monday. So you will meet your points for the first week. You can earn 100 points, okay? And then on Monday, it's going to recalibrate because now suddenly you have up to 200 points to earn. So your grade will go down. So then you'll get it back up. Yay, I've made all those 200 points. On the next Monday, now we're in week 3, you have up to 300 points that you can earn. So it's going to recalibrate to include those 300 points. Do you see how that's working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So to make sure that you're earning all of your points, the best thing that you can do is just max out your points every week. I find it takes me 15 to 20 minutes as an instructor to sit down and watch that little, it turns to yellow, then it turns to green. You have written enough words for this. And then at some magical point, it says, you have maxed out your points for this week. You can't earn anymore. But wait, there's more. Yes, you may have done your job, but I get to go back in and give out accolades. And I give those very freely. I'm not ashamed to admit it because I want you to get there. And I think it's kind of fun to make a personal goal to get as many points as possible. No joke. I have had people finish earning like 12 to 14,000 points in Yellow Dig. And it's actually worth 8,000 points for the entire module because it's, it's worth 1,000 points for the entire module. Sorry. But it's just weird. Anyway, people have earned a ton of points because they have posted and they've interacted, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. 150 points for you, 75 points for you. Like, so let's just be in it together and earn as many points as possible and have fun. Okay. Sound cool? Yes, it does. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Awesome. My coffee is like kicking in. So if I get a little fast, you can say slow down. Okay. Now, that's everything about the class. Let's just spend, I see here, I need about 5 more minutes of your time. Is that okay? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
5 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So communication is a transactional model. A lot of times when we think about the word transaction, we think about a give and take and it happening one thing at a time. I go to a coffee shop and I buy a coffee. So I'm transacting. I order the coffee, they give me the coffee, and I pay. So those things don't happen simultaneously. But when we think about transactional communication, we're actually thinking about things transacting all the time, constantly. So as you start reading your textbook, we see that we have a sender and a receiver, and we're doing those things at the same time. When we are sending communication, we are encoding it. So that's the word encode right there. We are sending it in a way that we hope the person receiving it will understand it. So for example, if you are talking to a coworker, your communication style with your coworker is going to be different than it is when you're at home, because the people that you're interacting with at home are going to receive your messages one way. They know you in a particular way, whereas the person in your workplace knows you a different way. And not to mention, the way we communicate with our boss is probably not going to be the same way that we communicate with our peer. So we're sending messages in a way that we want people to understand. So we receive those messages and then we start to break them down and decode them. And this all happens very, very fast. So this is a constant process of sending and receiving. Now, these communicators, as we're sending and receiving, we're not only doing that verbally, and we can talk in ways that we hope people will understand. We use specific word choices, but then what else are we reading at the same time?
Body language.
Yes, body language. So we are using nonverbal communication at the same time that we're speaking. Word choice goes into nonverbal communication, as does tone of voice, eye contact, facial expressions. And this is all happening together as we're sending these messages. At the heart, communication is about making sense of things. And then we also have channels that we're sending these things through. So on a daily basis, how many different ways do you communicate with people? Shout it out.
Hundreds.
Right? So what would be a specific example? And Churchill mentions even different languages, right? So we text message. We're in this awesome thing called Zoom where I can see you and I might have a sweater on up top, but I could be wearing my pajamas on the bottom. You just don't know. Right? We call people on the telephone, we text message, we send emails, we might even send a letter, heaven forbid, snail mail. So we are communicating through a bunch of different channels, and we select those channels based on the person that we are communicating with. So that's all happening at the same time. Now, one thing I haven't talked about so far is the idea of noise. So we're trying to do all of this, and then we have these other things that are competing for our attention. So for example, like right now, look around you. You're in your own space that you have selected to be in this morning. What else is competing for your attention? Like for me, I have tax information sitting right beside me. Hello, April 15th is coming. That is some noise right there. Anyone want to shout out? What else? Do you have an animal sitting around you? Coffee pot going, a television, children.
I have 2 children running around me.
Yes, 2 children. So we have this noise that distracts and gets in the way of the communication. So let me show you just one more model that shows it a little bit differently. So remember I talk about communication is we're creating meaning together so that I send things in a way I think you'll understand, and then you're receiving it in the way that I think you want me to receive it. And we have these contexts that are functioning at the same time that are also noise. We have a relational context. What is the relationship between myself and the person that I'm communicating with? What is the culture that we're in? This comes into play with different languages, but also just cultural environments. When we look at assignment number 2, we're looking at Abril and Associates. They have a company culture that is different than another company who might be doing the same thing. We have different cultures in the United States. Someone in New York is not going to be raised the same way as someone in the deep South. Someone in the Midwest may not see things the same way as someone in California. So cultures, also different families, religions, way of looking at life and worldview, these different contexts in which we understand things a little bit differently. Physical and psychological noise. What are the things in our head that we're thinking about? That I don't know about you. And of course, I'm coming from the perspective as a mother, but my little boys can talk forever. And all of a sudden, I have totally spaced out, and then something happens and I come back, I'm like, oh my goodness, they're still talking. What did you say? And these other things that are competing for my attention. So I have to pull myself back in and use these listening skills that we're going to talk about in the course to be like, okay, yes, that sounds amazing, and get on their level. And then finally, the social context. Are we in a professional, super serious atmosphere? Are we like in a game atmosphere where we're just hanging out and having fun? And all this is happening at the same time. So in this course, we're going to break down these pieces so we can focus on them a little bit better and get better at doing this and become more conscious of our choices and the choices that others around us are making, so that we can just have more productive days and more satisfying relationships in the workplace and in our personal lives. So do you have any questions about the model of communication? I know it's sort of like drinking from a fire hose at the beginning, because you may not have thought about your daily life in this way. It can be a little overwhelming. Anything?
No,
No
ma'am.
questions here.
No questions? It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, anyone?
I don't have any questions yet, but it is complicated.
It is.
We take it for granted,
Mhm.
communication skills and listening skills.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the best parts about this course, is that we've been doing this our whole lives. And now we're getting language to help us understand and define the things that we've been doing. And it really does, it gives you pause and it helps you get better. So if you do have any questions, especially as you get into the first assignment or the Learn It, please don't reach out to contact me. This is my text number at Brian. I've already sent you a couple of messages, so you should be able to easily reach me there. You can always send me a Canvas inbox message, and there's my university email. I'm also not afraid to talk on the phone or hop on a Zoom call with you because I am home a good portion of the day. I can easily hop on and visit with you if you have a question. Okay. So let's go out and seize the day. It's Tuesday. It's going to be a great day. I'll hang out for a few more minutes if you have any other questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for making time this morning to be here. I don't take that for granted, and I hope you have a good week.
Yes, ma'am. You do the same.
Meet you.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you.
you.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks, Miss Kim. Be safe.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Have a good
Bye.
one.